YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over my top 10 favorite Bible verses. This is different from what I usually do, but this is different from what I usually do. But I just wanted to try something new today and just to see how it goes. If you guys have any thoughts, please put it down in the comment section down below. While you're at it, if you wanted to like and subscribe, it's right there. But don't hesitate to do so either. If you just wanted to show some love on my channel, I would greatly appreciate it. I don't know what it is today. I just can't talk. And I just wanted to also add that I'm saying it's my top 10, but really this is like one of many top 10s because I have a lot of Bible verses. There's so many Bible verses that I could put in my top 10s. So this is really, I say it's the top 10, and that's probably what I'm going to title the video. But this is just my favorite Bible verses. When I go through the Bible, whenever I see these Bible verses, it just makes me smile, or it just makes me a little bit happier. I don't know. It makes me enjoy reading the Bible, and because there's so many gems in the Bible, there's so many hidden gems, ways that you can learn, ways to gain wisdom. So yeah, and not to mention that a lot of our laws are based on laws in the Bible. People don't realize that, but it is. And yeah, I just wanted to try something new. So like I said before, just let me know what you guys think. But number 1 is going to be Revelations chapter 3, verse 15 through 16. And it reads, I know thy works, that you are neither cold nor hot. I would rather you be cold or hot. So then, because you are lukewarm, neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. So with that Bible verse, it's basic, and I have it written down. I have it written down in front of me. With that Bible verse, it's basically him saying that it's either all or nothing. You take all of the Bible or you take none of the Bible. You can't go back and forth whether or not you want to take certain parts of the Bible. And on top of that, you can't accept one part of it and then, get rid of the rest. I know some people will say that the Old Testament is done away with. But it says in the Bible that God does not change. He changes not. He's the same before and now. Like, he's always been the same. And not only that, but Jesus also said that, think not that I have come to do away with the law, but I've come to fulfill the law. Meaning, like, he didn't do away with it. He just fulfilled everything in the law. And that doesn't mean that the law is done away with. So if you don't accept the Old Testament, you can't accept the New Testament, because they go hand in hand. They're almost like chained together, or almost like a continuation of the Old Testament. But it's not that the Old Testament is done away with. So if you don't accept one half of the Bible, but you accept the other half, it's like that is lukewarmness. And lukewarmness, he's not going to accept. So, and I guess it kind of answered, and the reason why I like this Bible verse so much is because it kind of lets you know God's personality a little bit. Like, now you know that he's all or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's better that we know now what he's expecting when Judgment Day comes. Like, Judgment Day, I'm kind of wondering, like, what it's going to be like. Whether I'm going to be judged on the way that I treated people, you know what I'm saying? When I get older, what kind of parent I'll be, like, what kind of wife I'll be, things like that. Like, these are things that I kind of think about sometimes. So the fact that he added that in there, it's like you get a little piece of like what he's expecting when it comes to Judgment Day, you know? But but yeah, that is one of my favorite Bible verses. Like I said, I have a lot of top tens. So this might be like this might go on for a little while. I have a lot of top tens. But yeah. I just like the fact that we can know what kind of personality he has. I mean, you learn about it more and more through when you read the Bible, which is good, but I think certain Bible verses really stick out more than others, at least to me. Um, Obviously, it's different for everyone. Like, I know some people prefer, um, the book of Psalms and it really stands out to them. Some people prefer, Romans or Proverbs. And those were the books that really stood out to them, that really made them want to dive into the Bible. But for me, like Genesis was my favorite, So like I said, like every Bible verse and everything is different. So certain things will stick out more than others. But for me, this Bible verse kind of let me know that like not only is he an eye for an eye kind of God, but he's also all or nothing, you know? So you either accept all of his word or you accept none of his word. He's not willing to there's no gray area. You know what I'm saying? And it almost references the whole sheeps and goats kind of thing. So in the Bible when Jesus talks about how like the sheeps will go on the right and then the goats will go on the left, and the goats are, basically going to hell and the sheeps are going to be with the Lord. It kind of just lets you know even further like those two that divide is going to be very distinct and very clear. And so whoever takes all of the word and follows the straight and narrow and follows his laws will be the sheep, and they will be to one side, and there's going to be a very distinct line between the goats who are going to be on the left. So yeah, it just shows more of his personality. Number 2 is Psalms chapter 1 verse 1, and it reads, "Blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stand in the way of the sinner, nor sit in the seat of the scornful." And then there's another verse to it. His delight is in the law of the Lord, and every day does he meditate day and night. I like that verse just because it just kind of shows you that like the Lord does not want us to be around people who are going to corrupt our good manners or who are going to lead us into bad habits. And I don't know, I just like this verse because this Bible verse teaches you that you're not supposed to be with ungodly people, that you're supposed to find your people, and it's very few. I'm not gonna say it's very few. Yeah, there are few people who know the how to live the straight and narrow. Um, so it's basically saying to like be around people who are more like you, who are following God, who has an eye that's set on pleasing the Lord rather than people who are in the world, So many people can be influenced by different things, and your eyes and your ears are the gates to your soul. So everything that you see, everything that you hear, everything that you consume is all things that can affect your soul. So it's good to be around people who are like in church, people, church going people, or people who read their Bible a lot, know the word, but maybe they just haven't found a church home, you know? So I like this verse because it kind of just shows that, like, a lot of people don't think that there are standards in which a Christian should live, but there are standards. Some people just don't follow them, but there are standards. And the standard is that you need to stand clear of the people who are, trying to steer you the wrong way, whether that be family or friends or just random people, you know. And it just also ties into another verse that says, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" Which means, you can't be around people who, or you won't even want to be around people who who you don't get along with, who you don't aren't, like, on the same wavelength as. Like, I'm not going to try to make friends with a Satanist. I promise you. I'm not going to make friends with a Satanist, and I'm certainly not going to make friends with an atheist. It's just no. But also, even like with the things that we watch and the things that we hear, like rap music, things like that, you're not supposed to be sitting, you know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to be in those types of situations, in those types of areas, or even like going to a club, where they're playing like rap music and stuff. You're not supposed to be in those kinds of areas. You're not supposed to be in those situations. Like, you're supposed to be guarding the gates of your soul, trying to protect yourself from the enemy. Because he will seek whom he may devour. He will literally go for anyone that he can. So, yeah. I like this verse just because it kind of just lets you know the laws. And for me, like, I don't know, I'm a person, I kind of like rules just so that you can know what to expect. Because situations where there are no rules, it's very hard to know what to expect, So I'm just glad that we know what God is expecting so that we know what to do and what not to do. So, yeah. I'm called. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. I really should put this on Do Not Disturb because every time I try to make videos, someone always calls and interrupts my videos. And I don't know why. But, because they never call when I'm not making a video. It's always when I'm making a video. And then it starts to make me think like maybe it's spiritual warfare. But I don't know. Anyways, Proverbs chapter 9 verse 10 reads, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding." The reason why I like this verse so much, because again, it kind of shows you the kind of posture that you're supposed to be in. So the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. I don't know about you, but I want wisdom. So the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Basically, if you love yourself, you'll listen to the Lord. You will abide by his rules. You will try to live a life that's pleasing to him because, I mean, do you really want to burn? And think about it. People are saying that hell is worse than, being set on fire. Now, I don't know about you. I've seen a few videos. The internet desensitizes everyone to just the most horrible, horrible things. I've seen videos where people have been set on fire. The way that those people will be screaming and running around and trying to get the fire out, I'm telling you, it's horrible. It's a horrible situation. So imagine you're being put in a pit where you can't put the fire out ever. You're eternally going to burn, and on top of that, There is no way out. There is no saying sorry. There is no way to redeem yourself after that. That's why it says the fear of the Lord is wisdom, because it is wise to listen to the Lord. It is wise to take heed to what he says. So if he's saying for you, if he's warning you to turn from your ways and you don't listen, understand the alternative to being separated from God is burning in hell. And you do not want that. You do not want that. And there have been even Bible verses where it talks about he opens up the earth and just drops someone in there for their iniquity. I don't know about you, but I don't want to burn. I don't want to burn. I'm good. I don't want to burn. I like where I'm at, so the beginning of the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That right there in and of itself is if you love yourself, if you love your own soul, you would listen to God. You would listen to the Lord. Understand? Because, if he's saying it's all or nothing, now or never, come on. It's literally do or die, because the eternal death. It's serious. And the second part of it is the knowledge of the holy is understanding. So understanding the spiritual, understanding the holy, understanding of the holy is meaning understanding the spiritual, or even understanding righteousness and how understanding righteousness. So basically you can gain knowledge, understanding, and wisdom by understanding the spiritual, especially when you're understanding when you're learning from God and you're learning from the Lord. You can learn a lot, and honestly you could evolve into a person that you never expected. And what's even best about this is that when the Lord is working on you, it could happen as fast as 6 months. Literally, he could be trying to work on your character and you can change within a matter of 6 months and you won't even recognize yourself. And people who probably knew you for years ago but just didn't see you within those 6 months because maybe you were just in isolation. The way that you will change and the way that your situation will change is so drastic that you won't even recognize yourself and people won't even recognize you. Some people might even be intimidated because they'll be like, how did you change so fast? And a lot of people have this saying people don't really change. But honestly, if you're going down the route of trusting in God, following his commandments, reading the Bible, praying a lot, fasting, you're really trying to seek the Lord, people can change and drastically. People can change very quickly. It's not even and for the Lord it's really nothing, because he can help you change within a couple months, maybe even less than 6 months. Some people, you never know. So I'm just saying that you gaining the knowledge of the holy is understanding. You will gain understanding, wisdom. You will understand the way that you're supposed to be as a woman, a virtuous woman. You will understand the way that you're supposed to be as a husband or as a man in general. Everything. You'll even understand the way that you're supposed to be a parent, or everything. God knows everything. So any kind of knowledge that or understanding that you're supposed to have, he can help you find that. He can help you develop that over time. And it could be a quick thing if you just follow his laws and completely surrender to him. It could be very quickly, I'm telling you. Number 4 is Proverbs chapter 13, verse 20. And it reads, he that walks with wise men shall be wise, but a company of fools shall be destroyed. So this kind of ties into, and this is another thing, a lot of Bible scriptures, they kind of confirm themselves sometimes, like they confirm each other. So this kind of ties into the same thing that I was saying before with blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly. This is the same thing. So a wise man will walk. If you walk with wise men, then you will be wise. But if you walk in a company of fools, then you'll be destroyed. Foolishness is not the way that you should go about life. I'm telling you that right now. It's not the way that you should go about life, because you're asking for destruction. You're asking for your life to be destroyed. So, and I don't know, I feel like this Bible verse in and of itself is wise, because you don't want to hang out with or be around people who are not wise, who are doing things that will get you into trouble, that will get you into jail, that will cause you to, end up dying, or that will cause any kind of destruction in your life, any kind of mischievous things. You just don't want to be a part of it. And it's not enough that you aren't a part of it. It's also the fact that, like, you can't be around those kinds of people. Because I know some people will be like, well, if I don't do it, but I'm just around these people. But here's the thing, though. You are around those people and you can get yourself into trouble, because let's say you're all in one car and it's you and three other people. And these three other people decide that they have illegal things in their pockets. One of them gets pulled over. They all have stuff in their pockets and they're in your car. You're all going to go down for it. And that's to even say that they will even take credit for having that stuff on them. They might even say that it was yours. And because you're in the council of foolish people, you're sitting with foolish people, you're going to get yourself in trouble. And you weren't even necessarily one to be carrying a gun. You weren't the one that were carrying the drugs. You weren't the one that was doing anything. You just sat in the car. You were there though. And and this is why it says in the Bible, a company of fools shall be destroyed. It will destroy your life. It will ruin your life if you hang out with the wrong people. It will just completely uproot your life. And it only takes one small mistake to land you in jail, to land you in a situation where you're almost like you're about to die. I don't know. Or you're going to ruin your life. You're going to ruin the opportunities that you get. You're going to ruin. That's why it's just, you should stay away from the people who are doing mischievous things, foolish things. Yes, just stay away from them, because and then there's even sayings, like, let's say there's even sayings that people will show you, if can two walk together except they be agreed. Are you going to be with people who, if you're hanging out with these people, there's a part of you that needs to change, that really needs to question like your own self. Because tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. Because you're not going to hang out with people that aren't like you. You're not going to hang out with people who are destructive if you are not. So understand, if you're friend, like for example, if you're friends with narcissists, there's a part of you that has a little bit of narcissism in you. If you're friends with people who are, I don't know, just racist, or just are hating other people for any other reason, there's a part of you that is like that. That's the only reason why you're able to even stand being around them, because there's a part of you, there's part of your mentality, there's part of your ideology that resonates with them. And that's the whole reason why you're able to be around those kinds of people. So you have to question yourself, and you have to question what kind of character you have if you're able and willing to hang around with people who are doing terrible things, who do foolish things. There's a little bit of you that is like that. And basically the Lord is saying that, I mean, a company of fools shall be destroyed. You're going to be destroyed. If you continue down that path, you continue on hanging out with those types of people, being around the wrong people, being around the wrong crowd. It only takes you being in the wrong place at the wrong time for your whole life to change. But just imagine you're deliberately putting yourself in that situation for your likelihood of destruction to be, rather than it being, I don't know, like a 20% chance, you just increased it to like 50. You just increased it to like 60% since you're hanging out with these people. So, yeah, you're not supposed to hang out and be in the counsel of people that are ungodly. You're not supposed to be in the counsel or the company of people who are foolish. Like, I'm telling you, it's not going to end you anywhere but destruction, or for you to be destroyed. And that's the reason why I love that Bible verse, is because it's kind of like, it's like words of wisdom. Like, don't hang out with the wrong people, because even if, let's say you're just their friend, it's going to end in destruction. It's going to end with you being destroyed. So I love that Bible verse. That's just one of my favorite Bible verses. But anyways, Proverbs number 5. No, this is number 6. Number 6. I'm losing track of my number 6. Cuz I just have a star next to it. I don't actually have like a whole, I don't have like numbers next to it. I just have stars next to it. So I don't know what number. I'm on number 6 right now, okay? Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7, and it says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So that's another verse that confirms the last verse, that confirms, you know what I'm saying? A lot of Bible verses kind of just like affirm each other kind of thing. So it says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So let's say I'm going to give a scenario. Let's say that you're in a situation where you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, something terrible. And the Lord warns you that if you continue this way, I will end your life. I will destroy you. You will be destroyed. It's basically saying the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So when you start to listen to the Lord, because he's not going to tell you anything that's going to hurt you. He's always going to try to warn you before your destruction comes. He always tries to warn you. But if he's trying to warn you and you don't want to listen, I mean, it's foolish. It's very, very foolish. But it's saying if you listen to him, you'll begin to inherit knowledge. You'll begin to have knowledge and understanding that he's not doing this to hurt me. He's doing this to help me. And over time, you can gain some knowledge. But, and then it says, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So if you're foolish, foolish people won't listen. Foolish people will despise wisdom and instruction. So foolish people don't want to listen. They don't want to have to hear what other people have to say. They're very stubborn. They're very hard-hearted. And those kind of people, they don't like wisdom. They don't like instruction. And the only way for a person to gain wisdom is, well, there's multiple ways to gain wisdom. You can ask for the Lord. You can ask the Lord, or you can learn from trial and error. But the trial and error can sometimes be something that's so detrimental, and it's something that you didn't have to go through. So if you would have listened, you wouldn't have to deal with the hardships or the hard times. You can listen and have a better understanding. You can gain wisdom and knowledge of the situation or how to get yourself out of these situations. That's why it's better to just listen to the Lord, because I mean, He's not going to steer you wrong. He's always going to steer you in the right direction. I mean, and honestly, if it's a situation where He's going to bring judgment to you, there's nothing really that you could do. I'm just telling you. Like, you could repent, of course, if He's willing to listen. But honestly, if He had to tell you over and over and over again, and you just didn't want to listen, you brought that on yourself, and it's foolish. It's foolish, because you could have gained an understanding and a sense of wisdom. Okay, there's a lot of situations where someone will invite a person out to the club, and God will literally try to warn them not to go to the club. He'll try to give them an instinct like, don't go there. Don't go there. Like, something inside of you is just telling you not to go. And maybe you don't realize that it's the Lord trying to warn you not to go, but something about it, you just get a gut feeling that you just shouldn't go. That's the Lord, like, protecting you. That's Him trying to warn you not to go there, because maybe that night someone's going to shoot up the club. Someone's going to shoot up the area or cause mass harm to a bunch of people. Maybe there's someone that's going to plant something somewhere and blow up the place. Like, you don't know what it is, but He's trying to warn you before that happens, so that you don't die, so that nothing bad happens to you. Or maybe it's just that night where there's just going to be a lot of drama, and He just doesn't want you to have to go through that. So He's trying to warn you not to go. There's plenty of reasons, and He's not doing it because He wants you to not have a good time. He's doing it because He's trying to protect you. And then the night after that, when you're home rather than in the club, then you'll realize, dang, like, if I would have went, then I could have died, like, or I could have got shot or something, Like, that's why you always got to listen. You always got to take heed to what the Lord is saying, because you never know what the circumstances is. And He's never going to steer you in the wrong direction. He's never going to tell you not to go just because He just wants to ruin your fun. No, He wants to, He's showing you love. He wants to warn you before your destruction. So, you always got to listen to what the Lord is saying. Number 8. Okay, Proverbs chapter 19, verse 20. And it says, hear counsel and receive instruction, that you may be wise in your later days. So, it's basically, this is another Bible verse that confirms the last one and the one before that. So it's basically saying to hear and listen to instruction, listen to counsel. Like, in order to gain wisdom, rather than having to learn from trial and error, why don't you just hear the terrible situations of what other people went through and learn and say, you know what? I saw that they did that, and I'm not going to do it, because I know that this can end badly for me. So rather than things ending badly for me, I'm just going to learn from what other people's mistakes are, and I'm going to do the opposite of what they did. Like, I'm not going to do that. Or if it ended well, then you know that it's okay. But it's saying here that, like, in order for you to gain wisdom in later days or as you get older, in order for you to gain wisdom, you have to learn from your mistakes, and you have to learn from other people's mistakes. Like, I know that, for example, if I go on this block, a lot of people shoot up this block. So why am I going to go down it? I'm not going to go down this block. I'm not going to live here. I'm not going to go down this because I'm not trying to get hurt. I've learned from other people. I've seen other people make those mistakes. I'm not going to make that mistake for myself. And that's me hearing and listening to counsel. That's receiving counsel, that's hearing counsel, and that's receiving instruction. So when you learn from other people's mistakes, like you see that someone else was suffering in a certain situation, and you decide, you know what, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to go through that, you know? That's wisdom. You're learning, that's being wise. That's taking heed to instruction. So, and it's always good to hear the instruction from others so that you can learn not to do those things. And this can also kind of go into because I know a lot of people will be like, well, just because it was bad for you doesn't mean it will be bad for me. But my thing is, if you hear that if something really, really bad and they're trying to warn you and you don't want to take heed, you're going at your own risk. But if anything happens, no one wants to hear the whining. No one wants to hear the fact that, oh, it was just a terrible situation. Because people warned you beforehand and you didn't want to listen. Now this is what your outcome is. And it could have been prevented. Like you could have not gone, you know? And this goes the same thing with, you know, people who have a lot of children with a lot of different women. Or, you know what I'm saying? You see that there's a whole line of women who couldn't get him to commit at all. None of them were married to him. All of them have children with him. None of them were able to get him to marry them. So I don't know why you think that you're going to be different. This man obviously has commitment issues. So rather than trying to think that you're different, oh, I'm different, I'm prettier, I'm better, blah, blah, blah. No, that has nothing to do with it. That has everything to do with the fact that this man can't commit. And it doesn't matter how pretty you are. It doesn't matter how far you've gotten in life. If he doesn't want to commit, he's not going to do it. So rather than trying to show off or trying to show them up, how about you take wisdom and realize, okay, he has 6 baby mothers. Maybe I'm not going to be with this man. I don't know. That's wisdom. So, Number nine is Matthew's chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. And it says, no man can serve 2 masters, for he will hate the one and he will love the other, or he will hold to one and despise the other. You can't serve God and mammon. And I looked up what mammon means. And it means wealth regarded as evil influence or false objective of worship and devotion. So basically, like, you can't worship God and money, which obviously it says money is the root of all evil. So if you're worshiping money, obviously it's a terrible, terrible thing. It's evil, honestly. So it's basically saying, it's basically saying you can't serve money more than you serve God. And this kind of ties into the whole sheeps and goats thing, how there will be a distinct difference. So you're either going to serve one. If you serve one, you're going to despise the other one. And if you serve the other one, if you hold to one, then you're going to despise the other. So if you have a love for God and you just follow God and you're devoted your life to this, you're going to despise the other. You're going to despise evil. You're going to despise the wicked. But if you're doing wicked things, you're serving mammon, and you're basically just living a life that is not pleasing to the Lord. Just a wicked lifestyle, wicked heart, wicked lifestyle, terrible things. And you're doing something crazy like on Epstein Island, okay? Obviously, those kinds of people are going to despise children of God. They're going to despise God. They're going to despise anything good. So, I mean, yeah. And you can't serve one over the other. So, I mean, for example, I mean, you see people like Trump on Epstein Island on the list, and you still think that he's a child of God. I mean, come on. Let's be so for real. You can't serve two masters. You're either going to love one or despise the other. So if he loves money more than he loves God, obviously he despises God. And or if he was a person who was truly a child of God, he would follow his laws, follow his commandments, and he would be nowhere near Epstein. But obviously you see where he was. So, I mean, you saw his name on the list. So, I mean, come on. And in the emails. So, allegedly. So yeah. You can't serve one, or you're either going to serve one or the other. And it's kind of the same thing. This is another Bible verse that kind of ties into it. You'll know them by their fruits. So a good tree can't bear bad fruit, and a bad tree can't bear good fruit. So if you see someone that's on the Epstein list or in the emails, obviously those are bad fruits. And a good tree can't bear bad fruits. That's what the Lord said. I mean, his word is true. So if he's on that list, or if he's in the emails doing terrible things allegedly, then obviously that means he's not a good tree. He doesn't bear good fruit. He bears bad fruit, therefore he's a bad tree, therefore he's not a child of God, etc., etc. So that's just an example. Obviously, it's just an example. Don't come for me. Honestly, I don't care if you come for me, because Trump is not a child of God. Period. I don't care what nobody says. But anyways, he could literally practice a Bible verse every single day and say it out loud for the whole world to see, and I still don't think he's a child of God. I don't care. But anyways, come for me if you want to. I don't care. Yeah, so a good tree is not going to bear bad fruit. A bad tree is not going to bear good fruit. So that just shows you, like, and that ties into this scripture. You can't serve two people. You're either going to hold to one and despise the other, and vice versa. There you go. Like, you can't you're either going to be one or the other. Pick your side. You're either with the Lord or you're against the Lord. Which one? And honestly, if I were you, I would not want to be on the bad side of history. I don't want to be on the bad side of anything. I'm going to serve the Lord. I'm not going to try to even give room for evil to come into my life. I'm really trying to do everything to keep myself away from anything. And that's not to say that people don't have desires. Everyone has those things that will try to tell you to do the wrong thing. That's why it says in Romans chapter 7, when I would do good, evil is present with me. There's always going to be a battle. There's always going to be a fight. That's what spiritual warfare is. But every day you have to choose your spirit over your flesh. You choose the spirit over the flesh. Because you choose the flesh, that leads to destruction. You choose the spirit, that leads to life everlasting. You reap what you sow. You reap everything that you sowed into. If you sow into evil, you will reap destruction. If you sow into the spirit, you will reap life everlasting. That's another Bible verse. I'm gonna show it somewhere on the screen. But yeah. That was number 9. So this is number 10. And technically I had 2 more verses. I had 2 more Bible verses. But you know what? I'm gonna add it in anyway. I'm gonna add it in anyway. I know I said 10, but I'm just gonna go into 12, it is what it is. So this is number 9 or number 8? No, this is number 10. Number 10. Okay, this is Galatians chapter 4 verse 16. This is like kind of like a small scripture, but I just like it because it's so true. And it reads, am I therefore your enemy because I tell you the truth? So anytime that you try to tell people the truth, anytime you try to pull people out of destruction, anytime you try to tell people that the ways that they're walking is going to lead them to death, people will almost look at you as if you're their enemy. If you try to warn someone, like for example, if you try to warn someone who is a part of the LGBTQ that their ways is destruction, if you continue this way just because you want to be with someone, if you continue this way, this will lead you down to hell. This will lead you to destruction. If you try to warn them, I'm telling you, the uproar is crazy. Like, they will literally go nuts. They will start flipping out. They'll start yelling. Those are the demons that are within these people. They fight so hard to live this kind of lifestyle. But the thing is like, I have to pull you out of this, because if you don't get out, you will burn. Not to mention, right, the sins of the world, the sins that we commit weighs on the world. Yeah. If you try to warn someone the truth, people will try to attack you because of the spiritual warfare. Because we battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and evil things in high places, things like, that Bible verse. We are constantly having to go to war with people just for telling the truth, just for being honest. That's where it says here, am I therefore your enemy because I tell you the truth? I mean, I'm telling you the truth because I'm showing love to you. But now it's almost as if you're labeling me as your enemy because I tell you the truth. Am I now your enemy just because I tell you the truth? I mean, take heed to it. I'm trying to tell you this because I care about you, because I want you to learn from your mistakes. I want you to have a good life. I want you to have a good relationship with God the way that I do. I don't want you to burn. So I don't know. I kind of like that Bible verse because it kind of is showing love. Like, am I your enemy because I tell you the truth? Like, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to show you love. Things like that. I don't know. I like that Bible verse because it's the truth. Anytime you try to tell someone the truth and try to warn someone, right? There's such thing as righteous judgment that children of God are supposed to be able to spread to the world. Like, righteous judgment, to warn someone of their wicked ways, that's righteous judgment. You're not necessarily judging them in a negative way, like telling them that they're a bad person, but you're just warning them, hey, if you continue in this way, you're gonna burn in hell. It's gonna lead you to destruction. If you continue down this path, it's gonna lead you to death. It's going to lead you to a terrible situation. If you continue smoking, you're gonna get lung cancer and you could die, or you could be on the donor list because you lost your lungs. You know what I'm saying? If you continue drinking, you can lose your liver. You'll be on the donors list, or you could die. You know what I'm saying? You continue on sleeping around and things like that, you can end up getting an STD, and then maybe you don't know that you have it and you can end up dying. Or you can end up being in a situation where someone hurts you in a terrible way, or someone tries to kill you or something. You continue on these ways and you can end up in a destruction. You can end in destruction. So, I mean, whenever you try to warn someone the truth, there's always going to be pushback, because whatever demons that they have can end up causing them to hate you. It'll manifest because light will cause them to manifest. It will cause them to be angry, to want to lash out at you, to want to, like, get angry and want to go at you. But you can't be mad at them. Keep in mind, like, don't be mad at them, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and evil ones, high places. Come on, you know the Bible verse. I'm gonna show it somewhere on the screen. But yeah, was that number 10? That was number 10. I think that was 10. This is 11. I think 11 or 10, whichever one. This is number 10, or this is number 11. And it's Amos chapter 3, verse 3. And it says, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" I've been saying this, man. I've been saying this throughout the whole because this is one of my favorite Bible verses. It's like, it shows, and it even goes with a person being equally yoked. You can't be together if you're not equally yoked. You can't be together if you're not agreed on one thing. Like, if you guys are agreed that the Lord is your Savior, He is the Lord and the Savior, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. If you guys have that, understanding, then, it'll be easier to be around people who have your same mindset, who have the same values as you, who seek the Lord the way that you do, who want to live a righteous lifestyle. Like, you guys will come together, and the Bible verse that says, when two are more together, He's in the midst. Okay, so it's like, if two or more are gathered, then He's in the midst of them. If two or more are gathered, it says, if two or more are gathered in my name, there I will be with them. Or I guess this is the NIV. This is the NIV. Give me one second. Okay, so it ties into the Bible verse where it says, where two or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them. So that shows, like, you just want to be around other people that are children of God, because when two or more are gathered in the midst, or where two or more are gathered in His name, He's in the midst of you. So you just want to be around people who are like-minded, who have the same, like, desire, the hunger to be with the Lord, like, always, and just want to, like, be with Him nonstop. So you're just gonna want to be with people who have a love for God. That is 100% true. You're just gonna want to be with people who just have a love for the Lord. And I've even witnessed that, like, in the beginning of my walk with God. In the beginning of my walk, I could not, it was weird. It was such a weird transition. I couldn't have normal conversation with people. Like, I couldn't have a normal, like, even small talk. I couldn't have a normal conversation, because my conversations, the things that I talked about, always had something to do with God, always had something to do with the Bible, and always had something to do with, like, scriptures and things like that, and the way that people should live. Like, I was so, like, focused on Jesus. I was so focused on Him that, like, even small talk, small conversations, I just couldn't do it. I don't know what it was. I couldn't have a normal conversation, and people almost seemed, like, annoyed with the way that I was talking, or the way that I had to always bring up God. I always had to bring up the Lord. Even when it came to like listening to things on the radio, I couldn't listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Everything. Like, when I tell you, I was in a space where like I couldn't, like, it wasn't like I couldn't function. I could function, but people looked at me like I was weird. And even men that were interested in me kind of thought that like I was kind of, weird, into conspiracies, or that I was like, they just couldn't have a normal conversation with me. And it almost like turned them off a little bit, but for me, I'm like, this is my life. Like, this is what it is. Like, you either take it or leave it. I don't care if you leave it, if you leave me alone and you don't want to talk to me again, but this is the way that I'm living my life. Like, so yeah, I mean, the beginning of my walk, it was like, and when I tell you I was so strict, and I was fasting literally like every week. I think I was fasting like 2 or 3 times a week. It was crazy, man. I was fasting nonstop. I was eating very little too. It was crazy. I mean, I was really like so focused. It got to a point where like people couldn't function normally the way that they used to when they were around me, because I would say something, like I would say something, and it was a problem. Like, family didn't like me, friends didn't like me. It was just a whole thing. Like, I'm telling you, crazy. But yeah. Okay, so this is either 11 or 12. I kind of lost track. I don't actually remember what number I'm on. Hold on. Okay, so this is number 11. The last one was 10. This is 11. Because there's only 11. There's only 11 on this paper. So I lost track. I don't know. Don't judge me. Don't come for me. Okay? I didn't know. Like, so don't come for me. I might even add another one. I think I'm just going to add another one anyway, because I have another one on here. I just didn't start it. So, but, yeah. Okay, so this is number 11, and it says 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship does righteousness have with unrighteousness, and what communion does light have with darkness? So you should not be in the council. This is another thing. This is another Bible verse, and this is in 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 6, chapter 6, verse 14. This is another thing that ties into, and I've been saying it too, to don't be unequally yoked, but there's another Bible verse that ties into, light can't be with darkness. You can't serve God and mammon. You know what I'm saying? The other Bible verse that I was saying, to keep company with foolish people, and that you shouldn't be keeping counsel with ungodly people. This all ties together. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, these Bible verses, like, they affirm each other. Like, they all go together. And it's basically like the Lord is giving you different analogies on how you can understand that you, as a righteous person, are not supposed to be around unrighteous people. There is no reason why light is supposed to have any kind of counsel or communion with darkness. You should not be around it. You should not, unrighteous people should not be with righteous people. If you are, there's a part of you that is unrighteous. You are not going to be unequally yoked. You should never be unequally yoked. Because bad company corrupts good manners. Bad company corrupts good manners. You should not be around ungodly people. And he said, this is like him affirming it. This is why I love these scriptures, because they all come together. They all work together, and they all just, like, intertwine with each other. You know, Psalms chapter 1, verse 1. Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. All of these all work together. They all come together. And so it's like, there's no reason why you should get this confused, because he said it about 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in the Bible, that you are not to be walking with the ungodly, that you are not supposed to be around unrighteous people if you're a righteous person. Light is not supposed to commune with darkness. You know what I'm saying? You are not supposed to keep a company of fools. You shall not walk in the way of the ungodly, nor stand in the way of the sinner, nor sit in the seat of the scornful. All of these come together. That all means you are not to be with darkness. You are not to have any kind of counsel with darkness. You are to keep yourself away from it. And I'm pretty sure if it were up till the Lord, he would eradicate darkness altogether. So he especially does not want any of his children near any kind of darkness, near any kind of terrible people, bad people, none of that. You are to keep yourself away from them, to keep yourself clean, and so that you do not follow in their footsteps, because you're guarding your eyes and your ears. You're guarding the gates of your soul. You are not to do those things. People don't want to talk about it, but the gates of your soul can also be who you sleep with. I mean, because when you sleep with other people, I mean, you're getting whatever demons they have, whatever strongholds they have. It's gonna be on you. It's a spiritual thing. Like, you can't be doing that. And yeah, this all ties together. You're not supposed to be in a council of fools. Okay, you're not supposed to be with terrible people. It's going to corrupt your good manners. That's why I love those Bible verses, because they all go hand in hand. They all come together, and it helps you and when you read them all together, it helps you have a better understanding of what the Lord is expecting. He's expecting you not to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, or increase your chances of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. How do you increase your chances? By keeping a council of fools. A company of fools shall be destroyed. Or even, not necessarily being, because you can't really help if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, but you're not supposed to be with the wrong people. You're not supposed to be with darkness. There's no counsel with darkness. You should not be friends with people who are doing terrible things. You should not be friends with people who are trying to do things that could possibly land you in jail, or that could possibly have you in a terrible situation. You know what I'm saying? You should not be putting yourselves in situations that will cause harm in your life, which a company of fools will have you destroyed. So that can cause harm in your life. But okay, so that was 11. I'm gonna do 12. This is 12, and it's Titus chapter 1, verse 15 through 16. All right, let me reread that. Okay. Let me reread that. Don't judge me. Okay. Because I don't have it all highlighted either. I really should have it all highlighted, but okay. It says Titus chapter 1, verse 15. Okay. So it says, unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, and even their mind and consciousness is defiled. They profess that they know God, but in works they deny him, and being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate. I can't even pronounce that. Reprobate. Yeah. Reprobate. Okay. Yeah, unto every good work reprobate. Okay, there we go. But yeah, and this just shows in this Bible verse, the reason why I like this Bible verse so much is it kind of shows that like a lot of people can say that they profess that they know God. A lot of people can say that they know God and say that they are children of God, but you can tell it by their actions that they're not. Like you could tell by the way that they carry themselves, the way that they do things, that they are not children of God. And it just shows that like even in their mindset, God is saying, because God could see your mind. He could see the things that you think about. He can see the things that you're saying within your head. Like he could see it all. And he's basically saying that like in their mind and in their conscience is defiled. Even their mind, their consciousness is defiled. So, and it says they profess that they know God. So these are people who could say that they know God. They've been in the walk for years. They know the Bible verses and everything. But in their works, in the way that they do things, they deny him. So in your works, the way that you do things, the way that you live your life, you're denying God. So, and then not only that, but you're being abominable and disobedient and reprobate. Like, and I don't know if you guys remember or if you guys have read when God leaves you over to a reprobate mind. I think it's Romans chapter 1. It's in Romans chapter 1. How he talks about a reprobate mind, how he will leave people to a reprobate mind because of how wicked they are, because of how evil they are within their hearts. He will leave them to a strong delusion. So I love this Bible verse. I love this Bible verse because it kind of just shows that like people could say that they know God, and a lot of people can say that they are Christians, that they're children of God. But again, this ties into you'll know them by their fruits. And if they are exhibiting things that are ungodly, their ways, the things that they're doing, you know what I'm saying? Like they're cursing people out. They're going crazy. They're just going out to clubs nonstop every night. You know what I'm saying? They're sleeping around with whoever. They're, doing whatever they want to. Maybe they're not at a point where they fully know God. I'm not saying that they don't have a chance to change, but I'm just saying like you'll know a person by their fruits, and if they're doing terrible things like that, there's a good chance that they're not children of God. Like they don't actually know him. They haven't actually tried to seek him in spirit and in truth. They are just saying that they know him with their words, but in their actions, the things that they do, the way that they carry themselves, the things that they say, much is given, much is required. When you're a child of God, he's not going to let you live your life the way that you want to live it. Meaning like you're not going to be out here living however you want to and then claim that you know him and claim his name over things. You know what I'm saying? Like a child of God, a lot of times he's going to give you discernment. A lot of times he's going to give you certain gifts so that you can know. You have a certain type of mentality that you have to uphold. You have to hold yourself to a higher degree. You have to hold yourself to a higher standard. You can't just live the way that you want to and sleep around and do whatever and drink whatever and smoke whatever and do whatever. If you're a child of God, you have to live it, you have to walk it, you have to talk it. These are the whole things. Like you have to, and you can't fake it. There's no faking it, because a bad tree can't bear good fruit. So if you're not a real child of God, a person will know. You can't fake being a child of God. Okay, God will call you out immediately. You cannot fake that. There's only so long that where you can get away with that. There's only so long where you can claim God's name over something and he didn't really, and he never really did those things. You know what I'm saying? If you're saying that he's talking to you and he didn't really talk to you, there's only so long that you can get away with that before destruction comes, because he's not going to tolerate that for long. You know what I'm saying? God will not be mocked. You know, what you sow is what you will reap. So if you're a child of God, you have to live the life of you have to live the way that, almost in the way that Jesus did. You have to try your hardest to try to live that way. And obviously we all fall short of the glory of God, you know? But at the same time, we have to work. You have to try to, after that, you need to try to turn away from that. Turn away from willful sin and try to live righteously. But as far as like people who just claim to know him, it's so easy to say that you know God. Anybody could say anything. I could say that I have like $1 million. That doesn't mean that I have it. You know what I'm saying? I could say that that I know someone who's a celebrity. That doesn't mean that I know them. I'm just saying words. Like, a person could say that they know God. That doesn't mean that they necessarily know God, you know, truly. And the only way that you'll know is through discernment. A true child of God holds themselves to a certain standard, and you can't just do whatever, you know? And God is basically saying, like in every way that they're reprobate, he left them to a reprobate mind. They're not, you know what I'm saying? Unto the pure, all things are pure. If you are pure, all things are pure. You can't fake that. You know what I'm saying? And to the defiled and the unbelieving, there is nothing pure. So people who are defiled, the people who are unbelievers, there's nothing pure about them. There's nothing pure about them. Everything about them is unrighteous. Okay, and it's very clear. It's very, very clear. Okay, sheeps and goats, very distinct line. You will know. You will know them by their fruits. You will know them. You will know if they are children of God. And then it says, but even in their mind and their consciousness is defiled. They have a defiled mind. They have a terrible mindset. They think of terrible things to do, and they do them. They think of horrible things to say to people, and they say them, or they plot against people, or they manipulate people to ruin their lives. They do terrible things. They put things in people's food. They try to groom children, or they try to hurt people by, like, I don't know, sabotaging them, doing horrible things in their mind. Their consciousness, their mindset is evil and defiled. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So honestly, this is just an example. I mean, the people on the Epstein list, the people in his emails, these are people who have defiled minds. That's an example of a person who has a defiled mind, who's willing to hurt people, who's willing to hurt children, who's willing to hurt the innocent, who's willing to go after the poor, who's willing to who's willing to hurt people in general for their own pleasure, for their own, and it's because they have a reprobate mind. The Lord left them to a reprobate mind. The reason why they have this mindset and see nothing wrong with it, the reason why these people are downplaying it on the news, the reason why these people don't see how terrible it is, that everything in those emails are so horrible. These are grown men and women who are doing terrible things to children, and no one, and they're downplaying it on the news as if it's not anything. These are examples of people who are left to a reprobate mind, who have defiled minds, who have a defiled consciousness. They have so much money. They have so much money and so much time on their hands, to the point that they just get bored and they just feel like, I just want to torture someone just to just so that I could be happy, just so that I could feel some kind of happiness. These are people who literally, you can't choose God. You can't choose God and mammon. You either choose one or the other. These are people who chose mammon. They chose wealth. They chose greed. They chose all of the terrible things, and that's exactly why they are the way that they are. They're okay with hurting people. They're okay with hurting the innocent. They're okay with taking advantage of the poor. They're okay with hurting children. These are the types of people that he's talking about, that are defiled, that have defiled minds, that have terrible things. And keep in mind, our president is on those files, is in those emails, allegedly. A good tree can't bear bad fruit. A bad tree can't bear good fruit. If he's on those things, even if he's hanging out with those people, he's around those people, he's hanging out with those people. Blessed is the man who walks not in the way of the ungodly, nor stand in the way of the sinner, nor sit in the seat of the scornful. If he's willing to even be around those people, he's even willing to be in the same rooms as those people, understand that's not a righteous man. That's not a righteous person. That's not a good person. That's not a person that follows God. And everyone keeps on saying that he is a God-fearing man. He is not. He is not a God-fearing man. Listen, the anger of the Lord, I would not wish that on anyone. I would not wish that on anyone. I would not wish the wrath of God. I would not wish that on anyone. I'm telling you, if he really had a fear for the Lord, he would not have done the things that it says on those emails. He would not be in those files. He would not be with those people. He has no fear of the Lord. And the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom and knowledge. These are people who are going to go down for the worst kinds of sins. And I'm not even going to go into that. And that is that's my video. Okay. Those are my Bible verses. Technically it was 12. Titus chapter 1 verse 15 through 16 is actually like one of my all-time favorites. I'm gonna have to put that in the all-time top 5. Okay, I'm not even gonna put that in the top 10. I'm gonna put that in the top 5, maybe in the top 3. There's a lot of keep in mind, of course, there's a lot of gems in the Bible, so there's a lot of Bible verses in my top 3. But still, I mean, that one kind of is my favorite because I like how he kind of shows how like the Lord can see your mind, your mindset, and the way that you think and the way that you are. So there's no fooling him. Like there's no getting one over on the Lord at all, because if he knows your mindset, he knows what you're going to do before you do it. He even knows, like, if you're plotting something long term, and maybe it's not for right now, but it's for the future. He could see what you're about to do and why and how you did it and how you came to that conclusion in your mind. Like, he could see it all. So there's no fooling him. Like, even if you try to say that you're pure, even if you try to say that you're righteous, even if you try to say that you are one of his children, you can't fool him. So yeah, you could probably fool a couple of people for a certain amount of time, and I'm gonna say it's only a certain amount of time until your true colors come out. You can fool a couple of people, but when it comes to God, you can't fool him. There's no fooling him. So if you don't follow him, if you're not really his children, he knows. If he knows a person's mindset, imagine, like, if he knows what you're thinking right now, and he knows what you're going to say before you say it. He knows what you need before you even ask him. He's known you. He knows every hair on your head. He's known you before you were even born, before you were even in your mother's womb. He knows people. He never gets it wrong. He's never wrong. So if you're not a child of God, you can't fool him. He knows his children. He knows his sheep know his voice. His sheep know his voice. So you can't fool him. So you can fool a couple of people for a certain amount of time, but God will give them discernment. God will give them discernment, and God will let them know. And it's only a matter of time until your true ways, your true nature comes out. So you can't fool God. A child of God is a child of God. He knows his sheep. He knows whose are his and who aren't his. And God, and honestly, even when you're young, a lot of times children of God, like, you can't even get away with doing terrible things because you almost always get caught, and you always wonder why you can't, like, you can't do certain things that other people can do. That's because the Lord's not going to let you do certain things. You're held to a certain standard. And it makes sense. It completely makes sense, because if you're one of his, he's going to chastise. He chastises the ones that he loves. If he doesn't chastise you, he sees you as a bastard. Like, he doesn't accept you. He doesn't, you're not one of his. So, I mean, that's all I'm saying. You can't fool God. A true child of God is a true child of God. And it's only a matter of time until he shows, he reveals who you really are. So that's why I love that verse so much, because it just shows that, like, God sees all and knows all. He's omnipresent, and he is able to be everywhere. He's able to see all things. He can see your mindset. He has no death day. He has no birthday. Like, he just has always been and always will be, So it just shows, I feel like that Bible verse kind of just shows how great God is, because he could see your mindset and your consciousness, and he could see what kind of mind that you have. And it just shows how great he is. So yeah. If you like this video, please comment down below. Like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching my video. And until next time, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.